Welcome back to Pendejos. My name's Marco.
And I am Carlos.
And today we're talking about what, Carlos?
Polyamory. And what is polyamory?
Parallelograms, apparently.
Parallelograms. It's when you're in a relationship, but you have consensual relationships with other people, and your partner is aware of it. So we're going to give, what is it, our opinions, or just talk about it in general?
Both.
Okay.
Do you know anyone who's in a
Oh my God.
parallelogram relationship?
Listen, in the gay universe, this is becoming a lot more common.
Okay, see, there's a really good conversation right there. Why do you specify gay?
Because that's what I know. I don't know about, well, that's not true. I do know a couple of straight people that engage in polyamorous relationships. But I think it's just becoming more acceptable amongst the gays. Or at least it's becoming more well known.
The reason why I asked that is just because there's already a stereotype that gay people
are promiscuous?
Yeah, right? And that's the reason why I asked. Like, why 1 second. So the only reason I asked is because, there's already a stereotype on, the gay community that
we're promiscuous.
Yeah, and it's, men, it's, like, men can hold a relationship or, so I'm curious to know, I don't look at it just as gay or straight, it's just relationships in general, right? And you were saying, like, oh, it's because that's all I know. Well, I don't know gay, but I don't just associate it with gay or just straight because, it's like...
Let me correct myself because that's not all I know, because it's not. But it is, from what I see and understand currently, it's becoming a lot more acceptable, and it's becoming a lot more spoken about openly in the community. And people just look at it and say, oh, okay, well, that's cool. So there's a third or a fourth or a fifth or whatever. You know what I mean? So it's starting to be not common, but more visible and more socially acceptable, right? Whereas before it might have been seen as something, ew, like what are you doing? Like, oh my God, right?
See, I look at it as not that it's become more socially acceptable because, again, my opinion, I don't think of it as me really caring if I wasn't wanting to engage in that. It wouldn't be me thinking, oh, other people, but I don't care what other people think. It's the partner you're with. Like, how do you
engage in that? Like, how does that come about?
Yeah, so it's not really, like, the way I see it, it's not the social acceptance of it, because I don't think people are doing it because, or necessarily wouldn't really be doing it because don't think it's going to be socially accepted. I think it's like, how do you even explain that to someone? And, like, how do you find people who want to be in a relationship like that, right? Like, typically when you're in a relationship, right, you just want to stay with that one person. So it's you know what I mean? Like, it's not that, like, I care about what other people think. It's how do I, like, find people who want to be in an open relationship? And
well, nowadays, I think the apps are the ones that are actually making that a little bit more easier, because when you go onto these apps and you click on what it is that you're trying to find, you're looking for either single people or people who...
Fantastic. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it is good. Like, it is really good. So we're talking about a drink that he made, which is just fucking amazing. But the apps, they have things that say, well, what are you looking for? Single, attached, just for fun, or something more, right? So it has all kinds of things that you can look for. And you can specifically target if that is exactly what you're looking for.
Yeah, I'm fucking my nitty. I can play for. That's like, that just goes to show, like, I don't really use apps, right? Like, to.
Yeah, like a lot of people don't.
But
but I'm saying,
someone who fucking knows technology and loves technology, you would think that I would have associated that right away. But yeah, no, fuck, I completely forgot about the whole app game. Yeah,
the whole app game.
That's a game changer, obviously. Yeah, I mean, that does make it a lot more accessible.
It does make it a lot more accessible and a lot more easier to find because if that's what it is that you want,
you just push a fucking button. You can find
push the button, and then because on like the gay apps and stuff like that, the gay hookup apps and stuff, or the gay dating apps, excuse me, they have stuff like that. And you can just click on it, and then within a 10-mile range, you can find people that are into that. So on and so forth.
So, what's your take on why do you think people want to be in a relationship like that?
Okay. Well, first of all, let us define
what a relationship is to each of us.
Well, that, and also, do you think that it's possible to love more than one person? Because one thing, it can be a sexual relationship where it's just you're bringing a third person into the relationship just to fuck, or excuse me, to have sex. Or the next one would be you're bringing in another person and there's going to be emotional attachment and there's going to be actual like love. Is it possible for a person to love more than one?
So okay, sorry.
Getting back to our conversation.
What was the last thing you said?
I asked, is it possible for a person to love more than one person? But like love, you know what I mean? Like,
please.
Who's harassing you? Who the blood clot of that? Tell me that bomb clot work.
So, I guess we got to go a little bit
deeper.
I guess we got to start even further back. We got to define what love is to us, right? Like, so to answer your question, I guess, but I have to go back. So love. Can you love more than one person? Absolutely. I mean, I don't just love one cousin or just one parent, right? So yes, you can love more than one person.
Not that kind of love.
Right. No, right. That's what I'm getting at, right? So how do you love somebody, right? Love isn't just given, right? Some people think that just because this person's your family member that you just love them. No, like love is earned, respect is earned. So how do you fall in love with somebody in an emotional way, where like a partner, right? How do you fall in love with that person? Well, you get to know them, right? So at that point, it has to come down to what's a relationship to you. So a relationship to me is, yes, there's different types of relationships, right? Our relationship, cousin relationship, my relationship with my brother, my relationship with my partner, right? When I want to be in a relationship with somebody, it's because I personally want to be just with one person.
Okay, yeah.
Right? So to have a relationship where we both have to agree that, see,
yeah, it gets kind of like,
it's because like, so is it a relationship where you can love another person and be with that person in a relationship, or is it just fucking? But
like, it can be both,
right? So so your partner has to be okay with you loving somebody else.
Yes.
Now, because yes, love can be different. You can love somebody more than another one. Yeah, you're already opening doors to, does this person love me more or less than this person?
Yeah,
right.
We'll get to that.
And then does this person even like this person? So now this person might have to be around somebody that they don't like.
Yeah.
Jealousy can get involved, right? There's so many things that get involved. So
yes,
and again, I'm not saying there isn't people in this relationship who do and accept all this, right? But it's
I've seen it
really, really, really hard.
Yeah. I've seen it work. It's
for that, right? Like, and me personally, I wouldn't be able to, because it's work. It's a lot of work to love somebody, and I don't mean work as in like, like it's not like
I fucking love you, you stupid bitch. That's enough for you.
See, the fact that I even have to like explain what I mean by work, like work shouldn't be a bad word.
No,
right?
It shouldn't.
Shouldn't be associated with like.
No, relationships do take work.
It's
they
work.
Do.
It's you know, like it's a lot of effort and stuff because it's
yes, it's effort, it's compromise, it's
right, and
it's
to do that with multiple people, it's and then right, it's not just you balancing those relationships, but it's also those people balancing their relationship with you and your relationship with the other people. So it's very fragile, right? Like if this breaks here with these two people, then it's a ripple effect that can, fuck everything up.
I've seen people get involved in polyamorous relationships where it was initially one couple, so these two people right here, they bring in the third, and something happens between these two, and one of them ends up leaving this couple to be with the one that they brought in. And I've seen that happen, and it's just like, oh my god, like, then for me it was like, well, then what was the point at that point, because you brought someone in, you basically brought in your own destruction, through the front door, right?
See, but was it your own destruction, or was it your way of easing in the fact that you were too much of a bitch to break off the relationship you weren't happy in?
Child,
and
wow,
you manipulated the other person to think that it was gonna work.
Some people can do it that way, but I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I've never been in that kind of relationship. You know what I mean? I've seen it to the point where it works. Like, it works beautifully, because I've seen thruples.
Thruples.
That's a thruple. And it's, they're wonderful. They're all, again, but this is just what I see visually. I don't know what's going on in their house and stuff like that. I don't know if there's actually any resentments or anything like that, behind closed doors, right? Because people are always going to show you what they want to show.
But see,
you know what I mean?
And that's funny when people, there's always going to be resentment.
Oh.
Always. And people can say, oh, here's an example of resentment that maybe happen if you have siblings.
Oh, okay.
Right? What people are like in this type of relationship, I don't have any resentment towards, the other person. Okay. Why? Because, we love each other. Okay. But so do siblings, for the most part.
For the most part.
Right. But it doesn't necessarily mean that you're not going to have resentment towards another sibling, because as much as people don't want to fucking admit it, yes, parents do love one of their kids more than the other one.
You think that's true?
I think it's true.
Really? Oh,
not to the point where you're going to fucking, clearly show it and be like, but I
some people do, though, which is
horrible.
I
mean, but what did the other kid do? but like, I think there is favoritism.
Favoritism. So there would be favoritism in the relationship as well, then.
Right.
Okay.
I mean, again, I'm not saying that there isn't relationships where there isn't, but based off humans and emotions and how humans are. I mean, it's people are fucking stupid. So I mean, think about all the dumb shit that's happened in the world because of people's fucking feelings.
Look, you see, as the audience may not realize, that me and Marco might be psychopaths, and we are a bit detached from our feelings. That's not true, which is very logical.
No, and it's true, because something that annoys my soul, which there is no soul.
Oh.
Just so you guys know,
there is a soul. He just doesn't know. Anyways, we'll get back into that. You see, that's a good topic. The soul.
Sure.
Okay.
Jesus died for us.
Jesus died for my sins. Okay, he got nailed by 10 Romans. Okay.
Okay.
Let them full of fucking holes, so I can be a fucking queer on Earth. Anyways,
you heard it here first. Yeah, I mean, it just, I really dislike it when people just say, I feel this way. Don't back it up.
Yeah.
Or think that it's okay and justify whatever happened or what they did or what someone else did because feelings. Again, Dave Shapiro.
Okay.
I love and hate that guy, because how can someone so smart believe in religion? Like,
so your position is you don't believe in religion?
No.
Okay.
I don't believe in religion.
Right.
Again, if you do, that's your thing. If it makes you happy, sure.
So be it.
Right. But if you need religion to be a better person, then you're not.
Then you're
are you really a good person?
No.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
You're
again,
not.
whatever. As long as it doesn't, fuck with my life or, whatever. I don't care.
Right.
But, like, fuck, I lost my train of thought. Hold on.
So,
Right.
Chapiro.
Feelings.
Yes.
Like, facts don't, like he said, facts don't care about your feelings.
They honestly don't.
They don't, because it doesn't matter what you feel. Like, it really, at the end of the day, it doesn't fucking matter. Besides the person that maybe cares about you and you. That doesn't make it true, and it doesn't make it right.
Yes.
Right? How many times have you made a decision based off your feelings that was a good choice? I can tell you that I've probably made none of the feelings, and none of the choices I've ever made because of my feelings was a good choice. Because usually when you act from your feelings, it's irrational, illogically, and you're not doing it thinking about the repercussions or like, the consequences of what you're doing. Like, feelings are
trouble.
It could be if you don't keep them in check and you don't understand why you feel what you feel.
Yeah.
Then it could take you down a terrible path, and some people don't make choices logically. Yeah. They only do it out of their feelings, and it could take you down a rabbit hole that can really fuck you up and
absolutely
make you a person who no one can even talk to anymore, because you're not thinking rationally or logically anymore. You're just like,
I try to tell people, and I've told my siblings this, on more than one occasion, that sometimes, in life we get overwhelmed because of feelings, or you start feeling this and you start feeling that. And it's like, you need to take a step back, step outside of yourself, and think to yourself, what exactly are feelings? Feelings are just chemical reactions in your brain. They're not actually real. So it's a reaction to what's happening in your current situation, right? Over time, your brain is conditioned to have emotional responses because you keep having the same type or similar type of emotional responses that just becomes normal for it. So it releases a set of chemicals, and that's the norm for it, right? So it's, once you start understanding that it is just a chemical, right, then you can start taking in the logic behind what the actual decision is, you know what I mean? And remove the feeling from the logic behind what it is that you're actually going to do logically, and you'll probably end up making the best choice because you removed your feelings from it.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I tell that to these kids at work, where I work too. And I tell them to the staff too, because a lot of the staff, oh my goodness, get really emotional when a kid tells them to go suck your mom. You go suck your mom.
And to be fair, it's not that we're saying that feelings don't matter. They do.
Yeah, but
it's again, like, you gotta think logically. Like, you got like you said, sit down and really ask yourselves questions. And an example to what you were saying is, heartbreak, right? The passing of someone. Like, you're gonna feel sad, but what happens over time, right? It gets easier.
Yeah, it does.
And sometimes, it's like, break up with your ex, break up with,
Yeah.
You learn to adapt, or like that chemical reaction that you would get to get that, feeling, that sinking feeling. Like, it's gone.
Yeah. See,
or it gets, again, easier to manage, and it's not.
I go back to like when my dad passed away. You know what I mean? Tragic, absolutely tragic. You know what I mean? My dad was a great man, and ALS ravaged his body and destroyed him, and it was unfair, right? And when he passed away, it was really hard for everyone, not just me and my brother and my sister and my mom. Everyone felt that, you know what I mean? Because his reach in the family was was so vast that, you know, like a lot of us are here because of, you know, his help, you know what I mean? So when he died, I remember just being completely overwhelmed and, you know, just hurt, you know what I mean? Because, you know, it's your dad, right? He's gone. You'll never see him again, and it's horrible. But with time, for me at least, logic set in for the most part. And I started to think to myself, it's like, well, he was suffering. Like, he was suffering. Like, especially towards the end. Like, Papi was suffering a great deal. I remember that the last time that I actually saw him alive, so it was New Year's Eve. I had to work New Year's Eve. And so I came to my mom to their house before my shift just to spend time with him and then go to work, right? And I remember the last movie that we watched was Cinderella as a family, right? And so at one point, you know, he got tired, and also I went to I took him to the bedroom so he can relax and stuff. And at that point, he was having so much trouble with his breathing that he had a stent placed inside of him, because he had to stick something in him to remove the mucus that was building up, and now it caused him pain. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I remember that doing that to him caused him so much pain, and me doing that to him, and I had to do it, and I had to physically cause him pain in order for that to come out. Oh my God, it was just, you know what I mean? So when you think about the loss and you think about, you know, him not being around and stuff, it's painful. But at the same time, you also start thinking, well, us wanting him to be around and us, you know, feeling bad and, you know, just that desire for him to be here is emotional. Yeah. You know what I mean? The fact that his body gave out and that it was his time and that he was suffering, you know what I mean? And that him passing away when he did in his sleep was actually a great mercy, you know what I mean? Because you went to sleep and you never woke up, and you know what? Like, damn, like how many people can actually say that, you know, that's the way that they go, you know? So I removed my feelings from that, and it's not that, you know, I didn't allow myself to process that pain, because I did, you know what I mean? And I felt that I recovered quicker than I think most of the family, especially my mom. Because mom, just remember, she was completely devastated. This was the love of her life, you know what I mean? And they were together for nearly 36 years at that point. Yeah, right? And so she was completely devastated, and she was in such an emotional hole, you know, just such an emotional hole, and it was a black hole, that she felt that she could never be happy again, that she'll never laugh again, that she'll just never be well again. And I remember talking to her, I'm like, and I said to her, I'm like, you know, I understand your feelings, and I get it, absolutely. And you're entitled to feel what you need to feel. But the thing is, you cannot get stuck there. You know, you can't get stuck in those feelings. You can't just let those feelings continue to wrap around and circle and circle and spiral. At one point, you have to let logic set in. Papi was suffering. Him being alive, he'll be continuing to suffer. Is that what you wanted? Did you want to continue to see him suffer that way? And then she's like, no. No. Like, I understand that you want him to be around forever, but in that state, you know? So once I applied that logic to her, and I made her see, not the emotional side, but the logical side of what happened, it helped her move on.
Yeah, and
fucking emotions, man.
So you did it nicer than I would have. Like, and again, not that I would.
You're not so
say,
best,
not that I would say it to your mom. Like if it happened in my family, right?
Yeah.
In a way, feelings are selfish sometimes.
They are.
And
absolutely.
in this case, it was not that your mom was being selfish on purpose, but in a sense she was being selfish because
we wanted him
she
here.
was thinking about just, I can't do this, I can't do that, I won't be able to do this anymore. I need him here. But once you talk to her, it's like, hey, look, like, me too, but what if he hung on longer than he wanted to because he knew that you wanted him?
He did, and that's the thing,
right?
He got to the point where he was in so much pain and so much trouble because his will to hang on, just because Papi proved that he was stronger.
Dude,
not just
to
like
be honest,
physically,
like,
emotionally.
That shit runs in your family. Like you too. Like even when you got really sick, right?
Oh fuck.
You proved what all the doctors wrong as well, right?
Stubborn as hell. That's
fucking Indio blood, man.
You know what I mean?
Fucking Indio blood.
But he proved that he was like stronger than like Jesus. Like like, well, not Jesus, but like he's just
I didn't see Jesus fucking with ALS. Pause. Yeah, I think having ALS is worse than getting crucified.
This is why we're going to hell.
If I call that thing.
I'm gonna use this little bit that we just had. That's weird.
No, it is funny. But so basically, what I like about our humor, right? Like it's again like off topic, but humor again, like as long as it's okay. This wasn't in good taste, but as long as it's in context of what we're talking about, and, like like the two people know what's happening, good taste. It's
taste is subjective,
right? It could be funny, but I mean,
I taste cock, he tastes pussy. You know what I mean?
Just say, man.
Yeah. So once I applied that logic and I made her see the more logical side, and not to be.
That made her. I think it helped her see.
Helped her, not made her, because I don't make anyone. And then I also put it in this context to her, because I'm like, do you think that Papi would have wanted you to be sad for the rest of your life? And then on top of that, there's Ken, there's Coco, and there's Luna. You need to be.
Well, Luna wasn't around then.
Oh no, she wasn't around. That's right.
Again, like a blessing in disguise. Again, I don't believe in religion. Blessing, use that word subjectively, but it was a blessing because I think, and from what I saw, it seemed to help everyone
absolutely
move on, and it gave everyone, I don't want to say purpose, but a reason to yeah, you know what, we can't dwell on this and like anymore as much as we are. Like we need to move on. There's
now
so
there's a little life coming, and we gotta get our shit together for her. So once that was applied, and she moved on past her feelings, you know what I mean? Because it was those feelings that were overwhelming, all right? So, getting back to the whole polyamory thing, personally...
Well, see, before we get back to that, it might have sounded like we went really off topic. We kind of did a little bit, but that just goes to show how fucked feelings are, because it's so easy. Just as the conversation that we had, it's so easy to get sidetracked or here or there or there. It's like feelings, love, right? Love is just a feeling, right? So love isn't something that's sure. You can say it's a mentality thing, because feelings is a mentality, right? If you feel this way, it's because why do you feel? Because you think this or whatever reasons that you feel this way, right? Feelings aren't just there to be there. Like it's a lot. At the end of the day, it's logical, and if interestingly enough, feelings, you can say they're illogical sometimes.
Absolutely.
Thing. So I mean, like it's just
feelings are. It's a very complex topic.
Yeah.
And it
but like again, to the parallelograms,
polyamory.
It's like how it's like it's so easy to be anywhere with fucking feelings, depending on the situation. Like for people to be able to agree and do it, I guess kudos to them who actually do it without killing each other, actually being happy, and but it's hard. Like it's again, like it's.
I think it would be.
It's a lot of work to feel and like be emotionally there and emotionally attached to somebody, right? So
I think for me it would take way too much work. You know what I mean? I'm not a jealous person. I'm not. You know what I mean? But you think I am?
No. It's not that. It's just no. Jealousy for me is, again, it's
irrational.
It's not, because
you don't think so?
No, because
why?
Why are you jealous? It's only irrational if the person's insane. But then why the fuck would you date someone who's not there? Like, that's on you.
Well, that's on you.
But like, if someone's jealous, there's a reason for someone to be jealous. What is the person doing to make them jealous? Mm-hmm. That's not to say that the person who feels that way, again, isn't just being irrational, because it could be an irrational feeling that they're just insecure, sure, and they have trust issues. But again,
is there something else that's causing that?
Right. And if there wasn't an underlying issue like trust, which, again, why would you date someone or be with someone in a relationship with someone where you don't know that was an issue, or what their past history was, right? That should have been addressed before being in a relationship, right?
Some people get into relationships without...
Right, no, and I get that. But then, again, that's on them. Like, why and this is why I ask, and I always, like, how do you love somebody? You need to get to know them. You need to know, not everything, but mostly like everything.
Who and what they are.
Right. Like, so again, if someone is in a relationship with somebody, right? You don't have to love someone to be in a relationship. Like, you really like them, you really enjoy their company, right? And you want to love them, or, like, you want to make the effort to love them. Again, like, these are things that should come up, right? And it's not like you're just gonna blatantly ask, "Hey, do you have any emotional damage?" Like, no, but there should be conversations.
Which I think a lot of us would be like, yeah, bitch.
Like, it's conversations that should or be had to again. Absolutely. Like, you need to know the person and, like,
who they are,
why, like,
mentally, emotionally,
right? Like it's, why wouldn't you talk about the past? Like, okay, again, I managed and, like, interviewing, right? I've done thousands of interviews.
Yeah. So
when I interview somebody,
you're an excellent bullshitter. You know which other bullshitters.
No, see, I don't bullshit.
You catch the bullshit.
Right. How? See, this is what people don't understand. Like, if you bullshit on your resume, right? Sure. I don't know who you are.
Yeah.
I'm basing it off your resume.
Okay.
So when I call you in for an interview, I'm not calling you in to tell you or ask you about exactly what's on your resume. No, I'm going to ask you questions based off what your resume says. So if you said you were a manager here, I'm not going to ask you a question like, so how was managing this place? No, I know how to manage. Like, I am wasting or investing my time to interview you because of your resume. So how am I going to figure out if you're actually not bullshitting? Well, I ask you questions that don't have to do with your work. The thing about it is generalizing the question. Like, so, yeah, I manage a store that's $20 million. Okay. So if the store is a $20 million store, so I'm going to ask questions about, okay, so how was it a $20 million store? So how did you run the sales floor? How did you coach your team? What did you do to make it a $20 million store? It says on your resume what you did.
Yeah.
I'm not going to ask you, is this what you did?